Life doesn't always go the way we expect it to. Sometimes things fall apart, and no matter how hard we try, it feels like we just can't catch a break. But here's the truth: you don't have to wait for everything to be perfect in order to feel happy. Happiness is not something that happens to you when everything falls into place. It's something you can create, no matter the circumstances. In this video, we're going to dive into the powerful idea that your happiness is in your hands, even when life throws challenges your way. You'll learn practical, simple steps to build a mindset that stays strong and positive, even when things seem to be going wrong. By the end of this, you'll have the tools to create happiness from within, to stop letting outside circumstances control your mood, and to bounce back stronger when life knocks you down. This isn't about pretending everything is fine when it's not. It's about finding real, lasting joy in your everyday life, no matter what comes your way. If you've ever felt like life is dragging you down and you're struggling to hold on to your happiness, keep watching. You're about to discover how to take back control and make happiness something you can create every day. Chapter 1: Happiness is an inside job. Taking back control. You've been lied to your whole life. They told you happiness comes when you have more success, more money, more approval, more comfort. They made you believe that once everything falls into place, you'll finally feel fulfilled. But let me ask you something: how many times have you reached a goal, gotten what you wanted, or finally achieved something, only to realize that the happiness you expected was temporary? It's like chasing a horizon that keeps moving further away the closer you get. The truth is, happiness was never something to be found outside of you. It was never in the job, the relationship, the approval of others, or the material things you collected. It has always been within you, waiting for you to take control. The moment you realize this, your entire world changes. You stop being a victim of circumstances. You stop waiting for things to be perfect. You stop relying on life to go right before you allow yourself to feel good. And when you take that kind of control, nothing, absolutely nothing, can shake your peace. Most people live their lives like passengers on a bus, going wherever life takes them, reacting to whatever happens along the way. They wake up feeling good only if the weather is nice, if people treat them well, if their bank account looks good. But when things don't go as planned, when someone disappoints them, when they get bad news, when life throws unexpected problems in their way, suddenly their mood crashes. They get angry, they get frustrated, they spiral into negativity. Why? Because they never took control of their happiness in the first place. They let life dictate how they feel. But what if you decided, right now, that you will never again let external things decide your happiness? What if you stopped handing over your power to circumstances and started choosing how you feel, no matter what's happening around you? Imagine being so deeply rooted in your own joy, so unshakable in your mindset, that nothing outside of you could steal your peace. That's what it means to take back control. That's when happiness becomes your choice, not something you hope for. People waste years, sometimes their entire lives, waiting for happiness to arrive. They say, "I'll be happy when I find the right person. I'll be happy when I make more money. I'll be happy when I have time to travel." And while they wait, life passes them by. They don't realize that happiness is never in the future. It's only ever available now. But because they tie their emotions to things they can't control, they stay stuck in a cycle of frustration and disappointment. They think life is unfair. They think happiness is something that happens to lucky people. But the only difference between a happy person and an unhappy one is that the happy person decided to stop waiting. They took their power back. Taking control of your happiness doesn't mean ignoring pain or pretending everything is perfect. It doesn't mean forcing yourself to smile when things go wrong. It means developing the ability to experience challenges without letting them consume you. It means being aware of what's happening, but choosing not to suffer over it. That's where your power is. Think about the strongest, most inspiring people you've ever seen. The ones who have been through hell but still radiate joy. The ones who have lost everything but still move forward with a smile. Do you think they're happy because life has been easy for them? No. They're happy because they've mastered the art of controlling their emotions instead of letting life control them. And this is the skill you must develop. Start paying attention to how often you let circumstances dictate your happiness. How often do you let a bad morning ruin your entire day? How often do you let someone's opinion make you feel worthless? How often do you allow setbacks to steal your peace? Every time you do this, you give your power away. But the moment you decide, I will not let this control me, you step into a different kind of life. You step into freedom. If you truly want to be happy, stop trying to control everything outside of you. The weather, the economy, other people's actions, these things will always be unpredictable. And if your happiness depends on them, you will always be unstable. Instead, shift your focus inward. The only thing you have complete control over is you, your thoughts, your reactions, your mindset. And that is enough. You might be thinking, that's easier said than done. And you're right. But nothing worth having is easy. This is why most people remain stuck in misery. They don't want to do the inner work. They'd rather stay victims of circumstance than take responsibility for their emotions. But you're different. You wouldn't be here if you weren't ready to change. Here's what you need to start doing immediately. Every time something happens that would normally upset you, stop, take a breath, and before you react, ask yourself, am I choosing my response, or am I letting this situation control me? Just that one question alone is enough to break the cycle. Because in that moment, you realize, you do have a choice. Someone is rude to you. You can either let it ruin your mood, or you can shrug it off and move on. You get bad news. You can either spiral into negativity, or you can accept it and decide how to move forward. Something doesn't go as planned. You can either complain, or you can adapt and keep going. Every single time you have a choice. And the more you practice choosing peace, the stronger your happiness becomes. This is not about ignoring reality. It's not about being fake or pretending everything is fine when it's not. It's about mastering the one thing that will always determine your quality of life, your mindset. You cannot always control what happens, but you can always control what it means to you. And the meaning you choose will determine whether you live in frustration or freedom. So right now, make the decision. No more waiting. No more letting life control you. No more giving your power away. Decide that no matter what happens, you will not let anything steal your happiness. Because happiness is not found in perfect circumstances. It is found in the power of a mind that refuses to be controlled by anything other than itself. And when you truly understand this, you become untouchable. Life will still happen. Challenges will still come. But they will no longer define you. Because you will have mastered the greatest skill of all, the ability to stay happy, even when everything goes wrong.
Chapter 2. Rewiring your brain. How to stop letting negativity win. You've heard it before. Your thoughts create your reality. It sounds like a cliché, doesn't it? But let me tell you, this isn't just some motivational quote thrown around by people who want to sound wise. It's the real deal. The way you think shapes everything about how you feel, how you live, and ultimately, how happy you are. And here's the kicker. Most people don't even realize that their brains are wired to look for the negative first,
to find the problems before the solutions. It's not your fault, but it is your responsibility to change it. If you want to take control of your happiness, if you want to stop feeling like life is always one step ahead of you, then it's time to rewire your brain. Think about it for a second. The last time something went wrong, what did your mind do? Did it immediately focus on how bad things were, how difficult the situation was, or how unfair life was treating you? This isn't some random occurrence. It's a pattern that your brain has been taught to follow for a reason. Your brain is wired for survival, and survival means avoiding danger. But guess what? In the modern world, the so-called dangers your brain is constantly looking for aren't lions or tigers. They're negative thoughts, worries, anxieties, and past regrets. Your brain wants to keep you safe, but it does so by constantly highlighting what's wrong. Here's the thing, your brain doesn't know the difference between real threats and perceived ones. So, if you're constantly feeding it a diet of negativity, stress, and anxiety, it will continue to build neural pathways that reinforce those thoughts. It becomes automatic. Your default setting is negative, and every little hiccup in life just strengthens that pattern. And the worst part, you start to believe that negativity is just who you are, but it's not. It's simply how you've been conditioned to respond to the world. But that conditioning can be changed, and once you start doing that, you begin to unlock the life you've been searching for. Imagine for a moment, every time a challenge arises, instead of your brain immediately spiraling into worry and self-doubt, you catch yourself and shift the narrative. What if you could take that gut reaction, that instinctive jump to the negative, and flip it into something empowering? What if you could train your mind to automatically look for the silver lining instead of the storm cloud? What if instead of thinking this always happens to me, you thought, this is an opportunity for growth? I want you to realize that every time you catch yourself falling into negativity, it's not a failure, it's an opportunity to rewire your brain. It's a chance to break the cycle of automatic negative thinking and build a new positive thought pattern. So how do you do this? How do you stop your brain from hijacking your happiness and forcing you into a perpetual state of worry, frustration, or self-criticism? It starts with awareness. The first step is noticing when your brain is doing its thing. It's like being in a car and realizing the engine is running too hot. You have to acknowledge it before you can do anything about it. Whenever you feel yourself starting to spiral into negativity, take a step back. Don't try to force positive thoughts right away. Just observe. Notice what's happening in your mind and body. Are you tense? Are your thoughts racing? Do you feel like everything is falling apart? This is the moment where you can decide to stop the pattern. Next, you have to challenge your thoughts. It's easy to fall into the trap of believing that whatever your brain tells you is the truth. But here's the thing, your brain is like a toddler. It will tell you all sorts of things that aren't necessarily true. It will tell you that you're not good enough, that you're always going to fail, that people don't care about you. But just because your brain says it, doesn't make it true. So challenge it. Ask yourself, is this thought actually serving me? Is this thought helpful or harmful? And then make the conscious decision to choose a new thought. Now I know that this might sound like a lot of work. You might be thinking, how can I change something that's been a part of me for so long? And yes, it will take time. This isn't an overnight fix. But every time you stop yourself from spiraling, every time you catch that negative thought and replace it with a more empowering one, you're literally rewiring your brain. You're creating new neural pathways that will over time make it easier for you to think positively. It's like going to the gym for your mind. At first it's difficult, it's uncomfortable.
but with time it becomes natural. The next step is to actively create new thought patterns. This is where you start to get proactive about the way you think. It's not enough to simply stop thinking negatively. You have to start thinking differently. One of the most effective ways to do this is through the practice of gratitude. I know it sounds simple, almost too simple, but think about it. When was the last time you truly reflected on the good things in your life? When was the last time you took a moment to appreciate the small wins, the little joys, the things that often go unnoticed in the hustle of daily life? When you start practicing gratitude, your brain has no choice but to start focusing on the positive. And the more you focus on the positive, the easier it becomes to see it everywhere. Gratitude is like a lens that allows you to see the world in a whole new way. It forces your brain to scan your life for good things, and suddenly you start noticing all the beautiful moments that were always there. The smell of fresh coffee in the morning, the warmth of the sun on your skin, the way your friend's smile lights up a room. The more you practice gratitude, the more your brain shifts its focus. It goes from being a negativity-seeking missile to a positivity-seeking one. And when your brain is on the lookout for the good, it's a lot harder for the negative stuff to take over. Finally, the most powerful way to rewire your brain is through consistent practice. You won't change the way you think overnight, but with consistent effort, you will see real results. Commit to practicing awareness, challenging your negative thoughts, and cultivating gratitude every single day. Make it a non-negotiable part of your routine, just like brushing your teeth or eating breakfast. And before you know it, your brain will be wired for positivity. It will become automatic. The truth is, life isn't perfect. Things will go wrong. Challenges will come. But you don't have to let those challenges define you. You don't have to let negativity control your happiness. When you take control of your thoughts, when you choose to see the world differently, you step into your power. You stop letting life control you, and you start living on your terms. Your brain is a powerful tool. Use it wisely, and you'll create the life you've always dreamed of. Chapter 3. The Art of Emotional Resilience, Bouncing Back Stronger. Life will always throw curveballs at you. It's not a matter of if, but when. We all go through moments where things seem to be falling apart, where we feel like we're standing at the edge, looking down at the abyss. Whether it's the loss of a loved one, a broken relationship, a failure in business, or just the overwhelming pressure of life, those moments come. But here's the key. They don't define you unless you let them. The strength you have to bounce back, to rise stronger than before, is something that's already inside you. You just need to learn how to tap into it. What separates the people who thrive from those who just survive is emotional resilience. Resilience isn't about being immune to pain or difficulty. It's not about avoiding heartbreak, setbacks, or disappointments. No, resilience is about how you respond when things go wrong. It's about how you pick yourself up, dust yourself off, and keep going, even when the road ahead looks uncertain. It's about turning pain into power, frustration into fuel, and disappointment into determination. You see, emotional resilience isn't some innate gift that a select few are born with. It's a skill. It's something you can develop, just like any other muscle in your body. And the great news is that every challenge you face, no matter how tough, is an opportunity to build that muscle. Every time life knocks you down and you decide to get back up, you are strengthening your emotional resilience. And it's in those moments of struggle, those moments of uncertainty, where your true character is forged. But how do you build that resilience? How do you learn to face adversity head-on and emerge stronger from it?
First, it starts with accepting that setbacks are a natural part of life. No one is exempt. Life doesn't follow a straight line. It's messy, unpredictable, and often feels out of our control. When you can accept this truth, you stop expecting perfection and start embracing the bumps along the way. Instead of fighting against reality, you start to flow with it. You begin to understand that the hard times are not permanent. They are temporary moments in the bigger picture of your life. Once you accept that adversity is part of the journey, the next step is to change the way you look at it. The way we view our struggles determines how we deal with them. If you see failure as the end of the road, you're likely to stay stuck in that dark place for longer. But if you can start to view failure, pain and disappointment as stepping stones on the path to growth, suddenly those same challenges don't seem as overwhelming. Instead of saying, "Why is this happening to me?" ask yourself, "What is this teaching me?" It's in this shift of perspective that true emotional resilience begins. You start to see every obstacle as an opportunity. The people who are truly resilient understand that every setback, no matter how painful, has something to teach them. The key is to be willing to learn. Ask yourself, what's the lesson here, instead of focusing solely on the hurt. This simple question shifts your focus from victimhood to empowerment. You stop seeing yourself as the victim of your circumstances, and you start seeing yourself as a student of life, someone who is constantly learning, growing, and evolving, no matter what happens. But changing your perspective isn't always easy, especially when you're in the thick of it. When you're going through a tough time, it's easy to feel like the world is caving in around you. You might feel angry, frustrated, or even hopeless. And that's okay. Those emotions are natural. They're part of the human experience. But what separates those who thrive from those who struggle is their ability to process those emotions and then move through them, rather than staying stuck in them. This is where emotional resilience truly comes into play. It's about allowing yourself to feel what you're feeling, whether it's sadness, anger, fear, and then choosing to move forward. You don't ignore the pain, but you don't let it consume you either. The most resilient people feel their emotions deeply, but they don't let those emotions define their actions. They understand that emotions are temporary, but their response to those emotions is what shapes their future. One of the most powerful ways to build emotional resilience is to practice self-compassion. When things go wrong, when you fail, when you feel like you've messed up, the last thing you need is to beat yourself up. In fact, that will only keep you stuck in negativity and self-doubt. Instead, practice being kind to yourself. Treat yourself like you would treat a dear friend who is going through a tough time. Be gentle, be patient. Give yourself the space to heal, to process, and to grow. The more you practice self-compassion, the stronger you'll become, because you'll begin to see challenges not as personal failures, but as opportunities to learn and evolve. Another important aspect of emotional resilience is the ability to adapt. Life is constantly changing, and the more adaptable you are, the easier it will be to bounce back when things don't go according to plan. Flexibility is key. You can't control everything, but you can control how you respond. Being resilient means being open to change, willing to adjust your expectations, and able to find a new path forward, even when the one you thought you were on doesn't work out. Adaptability also means being able to release what no longer serves you. That could be a toxic relationship, an old belief system, or an outdated plan that no longer fits your life. When you hold on to things that are weighing you down, it becomes much harder to move forward. Sometimes, emotional resilience means letting go of what you thought should have been, and accepting what is. This doesn't mean you're giving up.
It means you're giving yourself the freedom to grow. The final piece of the emotional resilience puzzle is perseverance. Resilience is about endurance. It's about continuing to show up, even when the path ahead is unclear, even when things don't go your way, and even when you're not sure you have the strength to keep going. But here's the thing, resilience isn't about being the strongest person on the planet. It's about being the person who refuses to give up. It's about taking one step, then another, even when you feel like you can't. It's about showing up for yourself, even when the world feels like it's against you. That's what makes you stronger. That's what builds emotional resilience. Emotional resilience isn't just about bouncing back, it's about bouncing forward. Every challenge you face is a chance to grow. Every failure is an opportunity to become stronger. You are not the sum of your struggles, but how you respond to those struggles shapes the person you become. And if you can learn to bounce back from every setback with more wisdom, more strength, and more clarity, there's nothing that life can throw at you that you can't handle. The power to rise stronger is already within you. You just need to trust in yourself, keep going, and know that every step forward is a victory in itself. Chapter 4. Letting go of what you can't control. Life often feels like a whirlwind, doesn't it? One moment, everything seems perfect, and the next, it's as if the rug has been pulled out from under you. When things fall apart, when life seems overwhelming, the natural instinct is to fight, to control, to hold on tight. But what if I told you that the key to staying happy, even when everything is going wrong, is not in controlling everything, but in letting go of the things you can't control? Imagine how freeing that would feel. To stop carrying the weight of the world on your shoulders, to realize that there are some things you simply can't change, and that's okay. We all have this illusion of control. We believe that if we just work harder, plan better, or manipulate circumstances enough, we can shape our lives exactly how we want. But the truth is, no matter how much effort we put in, we will never have control over everything. Life has a way of throwing unexpected challenges our way, and sometimes no amount of planning or effort will prevent things from going wrong. But that doesn't mean you have to lose yourself in the chaos. In fact, it's in learning to let go of what you can't control that you find peace and ultimately happiness. The concept of letting go isn't about giving up. It's about recognizing the difference between what is in your power to change and what isn't. It's about accepting that life will not always go according to plan, and that's okay. In fact, sometimes the most beautiful things come from unexpected places, from the things we didn't plan for, from the moments when we release our grip and let life unfold as it will. When you let go of the need to control everything, you stop fighting against reality. You stop struggling with what is, and you start living in harmony with it. You begin to flow with life, rather than constantly swimming upstream. Letting go is a practice. It's something you have to consciously choose every single day. The good news is that it gets easier the more you do it. The first step in letting go is acknowledging the things you can't change. It's about taking an honest look at your life and recognizing that there are some things, like other people's actions, the past and certain circumstances, that are completely outside of your control. It's easy to get caught up in the idea that if you just try harder or push more, you can somehow force life to bend to your will. But the truth is, the harder you fight, the more frustrated and exhausted you become. The more you try to control the uncontrollable, the more you'll find yourself feeling overwhelmed, powerless and drained. Imagine this: there's a storm raging outside, wind howling, rain pouring down in sheets. You can try to fight the storm, to control it,
to force it to stop, but you just end up drenched, exhausted and frustrated. Or you can accept the storm for what it is, take shelter, and wait for it to pass. Life works the same way. There will always be storms, periods of uncertainty, hardship or pain that are completely beyond your control. But the way you respond, how you choose to react in those moments, is what makes all the difference. When you stop resisting the storm, you give yourself the space to breathe, to think clearly, and to move forward with a sense of calm. Letting go also means releasing attachments to outcomes. How often do you find yourself obsessing over a specific result? Maybe it's a promotion at work, a relationship, or the idea of your life turning out a certain way. We get so attached to the outcome, believing that if it doesn't happen exactly as we want, we've somehow failed. But here's the truth. Life rarely turns out exactly as we envision it. And that's not a bad thing. Sometimes the universe has a better plan in store for us than we could ever imagine. The more attached we are to a specific outcome, the more disappointed we become when things don't go our way. But when we release our attachment to the outcome, we open ourselves up to a world of possibilities. We allow space for new opportunities, new paths, and new blessings to come into our lives. It's about trusting that even if things don't go as planned, everything is happening for a reason, and that reason is often better than we could have imagined. Another part of letting go is learning to forgive. Holding on to resentment, anger, or grudges only keeps you stuck in the past. It's like carrying around a heavy backpack filled with rocks. You might not even realize how much it's weighing you down until you let it go. When you forgive, you free yourself. You release the hold that negative emotions have on you, and you create space for peace and happiness to enter your life. Forgiveness isn't about excusing bad behavior or forgetting what happened. It's about freeing yourself from the grip of past pain, so you can move forward with a lighter heart and mind. But letting go isn't always easy. It's not about flipping a switch and suddenly becoming a Zen master, unaffected by life's challenges. Letting go is a practice, a journey that takes time and patience. It's okay to have moments of struggle, to feel frustrated or upset when things don't go your way. What's important is that you don't stay stuck in those emotions. The key is to acknowledge how you're feeling, allow yourself to process it, and then make the conscious decision to let it go. The more you practice this, the easier it becomes. One powerful tool for letting go is mindfulness. Mindfulness is the practice of staying present in the moment, fully engaged with whatever you're doing, without getting caught up in worries about the past or future. When you're mindful, you let go of the need to control every little detail of your life. You stop getting lost in the what-ifs and the shoulds, and you start embracing the present as it is. Mindfulness helps you cultivate an attitude of acceptance, allowing you to let go of any resistance you have toward life. It's about finding peace in the here and now, trusting that everything you need is already within you. Another way to let go is by practicing gratitude. When you focus on the things you are grateful for, it shifts your perspective from what's missing or wrong to what's already good in your life. Gratitude helps you release the negative attachments and judgments you have towards certain situations or people. It opens your heart to abundance rather than lack. Even in difficult times, there is always something to be grateful for, and the more you focus on these things, the easier it becomes to let go of what no longer serves you. So the next time life throws you a curveball, remember that you don't have to control everything. Letting go is not about being passive or giving up. It's about choosing to focus on what you can control, your response. When you let go of the need to control the uncontrollable, you free yourself to live more fully, more peacefully,
and more happily. Trust that what's meant for you will come, and what isn't will fade away. Your life is unfolding exactly as it should.
Chapter 5. The Power of Perspective. Finding Meaning in Suffering. When everything seems to be falling apart, it can be easy to slip into the mindset that your world is crumbling and nothing will ever be the same. But here's the powerful truth. Suffering isn't always meaningless. In fact, every challenge, every obstacle, every painful experience has the potential to offer a deeper meaning, a valuable lesson, and an opportunity for growth. The key is in shifting your perspective, in learning how to see beyond the immediate discomfort and finding the lessons that lie beneath the surface. It's about realizing that there is more to every difficulty than meets the eye, and that meaning can always be found, even in the darkest of times. When we face hardship, it's natural to want to push away the pain, to resist what's happening. We fight against the discomfort, wishing things would go back to the way they were, or praying for the situation to be over. But what if, instead of resisting, we leaned in? What if, instead of avoiding the pain, we allowed ourselves to fully experience it, knowing that within it is a gift, something that will help us grow, change and evolve into a stronger version of ourselves? This shift in perspective is what allows us to find meaning in suffering. We're often conditioned to view pain as something bad, something to avoid at all costs. But in reality, pain is a part of the human experience, just as much as joy, love, and success. Without pain, there is no growth. Without hardship, there is no resilience. The times in our lives when we've struggled, when we've felt like giving up, are often the times when we've learned the most about ourselves. They are the moments that shape our character, our strength, and our understanding of who we are and what we're capable of. Imagine this: you're climbing a mountain, and as you ascend, the climb becomes steeper and the air thinner. It's tough, it's exhausting, and every step feels harder than the last. But with each step, you grow stronger. With each challenge, you develop new skills, new insights, and a deeper understanding of your own abilities. The mountain doesn't get easier, but you get stronger. And when you finally reach the top, the view is more breathtaking than you could have ever imagined. In the same way, life's struggles can serve as the very things that make you stronger, wiser, and more resilient. The meaning in suffering often comes when we stop focusing on what's wrong and start looking for what's right. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" shift your focus to, "What is this teaching me?" Each painful experience is a teacher in disguise, offering lessons that can only be learned through adversity. When you embrace this mindset, you begin to see challenges not as obstacles but as opportunities. You realize that the difficulties you face are not there to punish you, but to help you grow and evolve. But how do you find meaning in moments of intense pain or hardship? One of the first steps is to acknowledge that it's okay to feel the pain. Too often, we try to push our feelings down, to avoid confronting them because we're afraid they'll overwhelm us. But suppressing pain only prolongs the suffering. Allow yourself to feel, to grieve, to be angry, to be sad, but don't let those feelings define you. Recognize that feelings are temporary, and while they may be intense, they do not last forever. Just as storms eventually pass, so too will your emotional turbulence. The key is to not get stuck in the storm. Once you've allowed yourself to experience the emotions, it's time to step back and ask yourself, what is this situation trying to teach me? Often the most painful experiences are the ones that provide the most profound insights. For example, maybe a setback at work is teaching you resilience, or a difficult relationship is showing you the importance of boundaries and self-care. Maybe a personal loss is revealing the need for deeper gratitude for the things and people you still have. Every challenge has a silver lining, and it's up to you to uncover it. Another powerful way to find meaning in suffering is by focusing on your bigger purpose. When we're going through tough times, it can feel like we're stuck in a never-ending struggle with no light at the end of the tunnel. But when you connect with your higher purpose, whether it's a passion, a mission, or a personal value, you begin to see the pain in a new light. You realize that your current struggle is not just random suffering, but a part of your larger journey toward becoming who you were meant to be. Knowing that your pain has a purpose gives you the strength to endure, to keep going even when it feels impossible. It's also important to recognize that finding meaning in suffering doesn't mean minimizing the pain or pretending it's not hard. It's not about putting on a brave face or pretending everything is okay when it's not. It's about being honest with yourself and acknowledging the pain, while also choosing to believe that there is something meaningful to be learned from the experience. It's about finding the courage to keep going, even when you don't have all the answers, and trusting that, in time, the meaning will reveal itself. One of the most transformative shifts you can make when facing hardship is to stop seeing yourself as a victim of your circumstances and instead embrace the role of the creator of your own story. Life isn't about what happens to you, it's about how you respond. Every situation, no matter how painful, offers you a choice. You can let it define you, or you can choose to rise above it and create something meaningful from it. The choice is always yours. Finding meaning in suffering is not just about surviving, it's about thriving in the face of adversity. It's about using the pain as fuel to propel you forward, to grow, to evolve, and to become a better, stronger version of yourself. It's about recognizing that every difficult experience is a stepping stone on your journey, one that will ultimately lead you to greater happiness, fulfillment, and purpose. So the next time life throws a curveball your way, don't ask, "Why me?" Instead, ask, "What can I learn from this?" Embrace the challenge, seek the lesson, and trust that this too shall pass, leaving you stronger, wiser, and more capable than ever before. You are not defined by your suffering, but by how you choose to rise above it. Your journey is yours to create, and the meaning you find in your struggles is what will make the story of your life one of resilience, strength, and true happiness. Chapter 6. Daily Rituals for Unshakable Happiness. What you do in the morning, how you set your mindset, and the routines you establish have the potential to set the tone for everything that follows. It's not just about waking up, going through the motions, and rushing through your day. It's about creating a foundation of unshakable happiness that will carry you through anything that comes your way. The beauty of daily rituals is that they are completely in your control, and they hold the power to anchor you, no matter how chaotic or unpredictable life may get. Imagine waking up each day with a clear sense of purpose, knowing exactly what your next steps are, feeling grounded, centered, and ready to take on the world. This is the kind of power that comes with having daily rituals that nurture both your body and your mind. It's not about waiting for external circumstances to change or for things to fall into place. It's about taking charge of your own energy and mindset, shaping your day with actions that align with your highest values, and cultivating happiness from within. Think about it. Every single day you have an opportunity to make choices, to shape your world, to influence how you feel, and to impact the way you perceive the events around you. Your rituals, your daily practices, are the keys to unlocking this power. It's easy to get swept up in the distractions of life, to feel overwhelmed by the demands of work, family, and everything else on your plate. But when you create rituals that help you stay grounded, focused, and positive, it becomes much easier to navigate life with clarity and a sense of calm. you start to see that true happiness doesn't come from external sources. It comes from how you choose to show up for yourself every single day. Your rituals are an expression of your commitment to yourself, to your growth, and to your well-being. They're like little promises you make to your future self, assuring that no matter what life throws your way, you've got your back. It's easy to think of happiness as something that happens when the circumstances are right, when things are going well, when you've achieved your goals, when everything is in perfect order. But true happiness comes when you learn how to create joy in the midst of life's challenges. And that's exactly what daily rituals allow you to do. One of the most powerful ways to start your day is by focusing on gratitude. It's simple, yet incredibly transformative. When you wake up and immediately start thinking about the things you're grateful for, it shifts your mindset. It pulls you out of any negativity or stress and redirects your attention to what's going well in your life. Gratitude is like a magnet for positivity. It invites more good things into your life. And it's not just about big things, it's about appreciating the small moments, the little things that often go unnoticed. A warm cup of coffee, a beautiful sunrise, the sound of birds chirping outside your window. These moments may seem insignificant, but they hold incredible power to shift your focus and elevate your mood. Gratitude doesn't just have to be a morning practice. It can be a part of your entire day. At any moment, you can pause and take a deep breath, remembering the things you're thankful for. This simple act can be a grounding force when life feels overwhelming or stressful. And over time, gratitude becomes a habit, one that rewires your brain to focus on the positive, even in the face of adversity. Another important ritual that can lead to unshakable happiness is movement. Our bodies are meant to move, to stretch, to release energy. But in today's fast-paced world, it's easy to get stuck in a sedentary lifestyle, glued to screens or sitting for hours at a time. But movement is essential for mental clarity, emotional well-being, and physical health. It doesn't have to be an intense workout, but just some form of movement that gets your blood flowing and your body energized. Whether it's a walk in the park, some yoga stretches, or a few minutes of dancing around your living room, moving your body helps release stress and boosts your mood. It's like hitting the reset button for your mind and spirit. Now, let's talk about the importance of setting intentions. This is a practice that goes beyond goal setting. It's about bringing awareness to the energy you want to carry with you throughout the day. It's about being intentional with your time and actions, making sure that every step you take aligns with your higher purpose. When you set an intention for the day, you give yourself direction, you bring clarity to your focus, and you become intentional with the energy you put out into the world. For example, your intention might be to approach the day with patience and calm, to be present with your loved ones, or to prioritize self-care. Setting a clear intention shifts your mindset and empowers you to navigate the day with purpose and confidence. Another key daily ritual is meditation. It doesn't have to be long or complicated, but even just a few minutes of stillness can make a huge difference in your overall sense of well-being. Meditation allows you to quiet the noise, center yourself, and reconnect with your inner peace. It helps clear away mental clutter and create space for clarity and mindfulness. And just like gratitude, meditation has a lasting impact. It doesn't just help you feel calm in the moment. It helps you develop a deeper sense of calm that carries over into the rest of your day. In addition to these practices, it's also essential to create space for joy and creativity. Whether it's making time for a hobby, spending quality time with loved ones, or simply indulging in something that brings you joy, these moments are just as important as the structured rituals. Happiness comes from a balance of routine and spontaneity.
When you make room for joy in your daily life, it creates a sense of lightness and freedom that is vital to your happiness. But the key to all of this is consistency. It's not enough to just have one great day of rituals. True transformation happens when these practices become part of your daily routine. When you commit to showing up for yourself every single day, no matter what. It's easy to get excited about making changes and setting new goals, but the real power lies in the daily commitment to those goals, to those rituals. It's the small, consistent actions that compound over time and create a life of true happiness and fulfillment. So, whether you're just starting out or you've been on the journey for a while, remember that happiness is something you create. It's not about waiting for the right circumstances or for things to fall into place. It's about creating your own happiness, one ritual at a time. By implementing simple practices like gratitude, movement, setting intentions, and meditation, you can begin to build a solid foundation of happiness that will carry you through the ups and downs of life. You are the creator of your own happiness, and the power to transform your life is within your hands. All it takes is the commitment to show up every day with the intention to create a life of purpose, joy, and unshakable happiness.
Chapter 7. Mastering the Inner Dialogue. How to speak to yourself with kindness. The way you talk to yourself matters more than you think. Your inner dialogue, the words you speak to your own mind, shape your world in ways that are both subtle and powerful. We often underestimate just how much impact our self-talk has on our emotions, our mindset, and our ability to stay resilient in tough times. If you're constantly telling yourself that you're not good enough, that you're a failure, or that things will never get better, it's no wonder you feel stuck or defeated. But here's the good news. You have the power to change your inner dialogue. You can begin to speak to yourself with kindness, patience, and encouragement, and in doing so, you can unlock a completely new level of self-confidence, self-love, and personal growth. The truth is, we are often our own worst critics. We are quick to judge ourselves, to criticize every mistake, and to magnify every flaw. We hold ourselves to impossibly high standards and beat ourselves up when we inevitably fall short. This kind of self-talk creates a negative cycle where we only see the things we're doing wrong, instead of recognizing the progress we're making. It's easy to feel defeated in this mindset, but when you begin to speak to yourself with kindness, things start to shift. You break free from that cycle of negativity, and instead, you start reinforcing positive beliefs that propel you forward. Think about it for a moment. How would your day look if you woke up and spoke to yourself like you would speak to your best friend? Instead of focusing on all your shortcomings, imagine offering yourself words of encouragement, compassion, and support. What if, instead of beating yourself up for mistakes, you acknowledge them as part of the learning process? This is the shift that can change everything. It's about learning to be your own biggest supporter rather than your harshest critic. We've all heard the saying, "You are what you think." While this may sound like a simple cliché, there's a deep truth in it. The thoughts you think shape your reality. When you tell yourself that you're not capable, that you're not worthy, those thoughts create a reality where you hold yourself back from opportunities, from growth, and from living up to your true potential. But when you start changing that internal dialogue, when you tell yourself that you are capable, that you are worthy, and that you are enough, you create a reality where you embrace challenges with confidence, take risks without fear of failure, and approach life with an unshakable belief in your own abilities. It's not always easy to change your inner dialogue, especially if you've been speaking negatively to yourself for a long time. But the key is to start small. Begin by noticing the thoughts that arise throughout your day. Pay attention to the moments when you're hard on yourself, when you automatically assume the worst, or when you find yourself doubting your abilities. These are the moments when you have an opportunity to shift your mindset. When you catch yourself in a moment of negative self-talk, pause for a moment. Take a deep breath and consciously choose to replace those thoughts with something more positive. Instead of thinking, "I can't do this," tell yourself, "I can do hard things." Instead of thinking, "I'm not good enough," remind yourself, "I am worthy, just as I am." The more you practice this, the easier it becomes. Over time, your brain starts to rewire itself. It begins to believe the positive affirmations you are feeding it. It starts to believe that you are capable, that you are deserving, and that you are strong enough to handle whatever comes your way. And when your brain starts to believe these things, it shows up differently in the world. You start taking action with confidence. You take risks, knowing that failure is just a lesson, not a reflection of your worth. You stop holding yourself back because you've learned to trust in your own abilities. One of the most powerful tools you can use in this process is positive affirmations. Affirmations are simple statements that you repeat to yourself regularly to reinforce positive beliefs. For example, you might say, "I am worthy of love and success," "I am capable of achieving my goals," or "I am enough." These affirmations can be a lifeline when you're feeling uncertain or insecure. By repeating them daily, you begin to reprogram your subconscious mind to believe in your own potential. It's like planting seeds of positivity that will eventually grow into a strong, unshakable belief in yourself. Another powerful tool to help shift your inner dialogue is practicing self-compassion. Self-compassion means treating yourself with the same kindness and understanding that you would show to a close friend. When you make a mistake, instead of beating yourself up, offer yourself words of comfort and encouragement. When you're going through a tough time, be gentle with yourself instead of getting frustrated or angry. Remember that you are human, and like everyone else, you are allowed to make mistakes and experience setbacks. Self-compassion allows you to navigate those moments with grace, without letting them define your worth or your future. It's about treating yourself with love, even when things aren't going as planned. But there's also a deeper level of self-talk that we need to address: your inner critic. This voice can be loud and insistent, often making you feel unworthy or inadequate. The inner critic loves to focus on your perceived flaws, mistakes, and shortcomings. It's the voice that tells you you're not good enough or that you'll never be successful. But here's the thing, your inner critic is not the truth. It's simply a voice in your head, a story you've been telling yourself for years. And just like any story, you have the power to rewrite it. When you start to notice the voice of your inner critic, you can challenge it. Ask yourself, is this true? Is this really how I want to see myself? And if the answer is no, rewrite the story. Replace that critical voice with one that is supportive, loving, and empowering. This is where the power of mindfulness comes in. Mindfulness helps you become aware of the thoughts that arise in your mind without getting attached to them. It allows you to observe your thoughts from a place of non-judgment and awareness, which gives you the space to choose how to respond. When you practice mindfulness, you can catch those negative thoughts before they spiral out of control. You can acknowledge them without letting them define you. And in doing so, you gain control over your inner dialogue, allowing you to shift from a place of self-criticism to self-love. The way you speak to yourself has the potential to change your entire life. When you choose kindness over criticism, support over judgment, and belief over doubt, you open the door to endless possibilities. You allow yourself to grow, to take risks, and to move forward with confidence. And as you continue to practice this kind of self-talk,
you'll find that your life begins to change in ways you never thought possible. You'll become more resilient, more empowered, and more aligned with the best version of yourself. The key is to start today. Be mindful of your thoughts, challenge the negative voices, and begin speaking to yourself with the same love and respect that you would offer to anyone else. This small change can have a profound impact on your happiness and your success. And the best part, it's entirely in your hands.
Chapter 8. The People Factor. How relationships shape your happiness. The people you surround yourself with have an undeniable impact on your happiness, your mindset, and ultimately your life. It's easy to overlook the importance of relationships when you're caught up in the daily grind of work, goals, and responsibilities. But the truth is, the energy of the people around you can either fuel your success or drain your spirit. If you want to stay happy, even when everything seems to be going wrong, the people you choose to spend time with must be part of your strategy for well-being. This isn't just about being around people who make you feel good. It's about consciously curating relationships that support your growth, your happiness, and your sense of purpose. We all know that life can be unpredictable. Some days feel like a smooth ride, while other days bring challenges that make you question everything. It's during those tough times that the people in your life can either lift you up or pull you down. Think about the friends, family members, and colleagues you interact with regularly. Do they bring positivity into your life? Do they make you feel supported and encouraged? Or do they constantly bring negativity, stress, and doubt into your world? It's essential to evaluate who you allow into your inner circle, because their influence is more significant than you might think. Having a strong support system can make all the difference when it comes to maintaining your happiness. The people you trust with your emotions, your fears, and your dreams play a pivotal role in helping you navigate life's ups and downs. Imagine going through a difficult time and having someone by your side who listens to you without judgment, encourages you when you feel weak, and reminds you of your strengths when you forget them. That's the kind of relationship you need to foster if you want to stay grounded, especially when life throws curveballs. Supportive people help you find your footing again when you stumble, and they remind you that you're not alone in your struggles. On the other hand, toxic relationships can be incredibly draining. These are the people who leave you feeling worse about yourself after every interaction. They criticize, belittle, or dismiss your feelings. They gossip, complain, and create unnecessary drama. Over time, these relationships can erode your confidence, your sense of worth, and your overall well-being. It's easy to fall into the trap of thinking you have to keep these relationships in your life because of obligation, history, or fear of confrontation. But the reality is that toxic relationships only serve to drain your energy and disrupt your peace. And when you're already dealing with life's challenges, the last thing you need is more negativity. Now, I'm not saying you should cut ties with everyone who doesn't always bring sunshine and rainbows into your life. Relationships are complex, and sometimes people act out of their own struggles. But it's important to recognize when a relationship is consistently harmful to your mental and emotional well-being. It's about setting boundaries and learning how to protect your energy. You don't have to let people's negativity affect your mindset. You have the power to choose how much of their energy you allow to influence yours. This doesn't mean you have to be cold or distant, but it does mean you need to prioritize your own happiness and well-being. One of the most powerful decisions you can make is to intentionally seek out relationships that nourish you. Surround yourself with people who inspire you to be better, who encourage your dreams, and who celebrate your successes. Seek out individuals who push you to grow, who challenge your thinking in healthy ways, and who help you become the best version of yourself. These are the kinds of relationships that will support your happiness, especially during tough times. You need people who will stand by you, root for you, and help you stay focused on your goals, even when things aren't going perfectly. But it's not just about being around the right people, it's also about being the right person for others. The energy you put out into the world is just as important as the energy you receive. If you want to attract supportive, uplifting people, you need to be the kind of person who supports and uplifts others. This doesn't mean you have to be perfect or always have it all together. It simply means being there for the people who matter to you, offering encouragement when needed, and providing a safe space for people to be themselves without judgment. When you show up with kindness, empathy, and positivity, you attract those same qualities in return. Another important aspect of relationships is understanding that not everyone is meant to stay in your life forever. Some people come into your life for a season, and their purpose may be to teach you a lesson, help you grow, or offer you guidance. Once that season is over, it's okay to let go. It's natural for relationships to evolve, and sometimes letting go is the healthiest thing you can do for yourself. Holding on to relationships that no longer serve you or your growth can keep you stuck in the past, preventing you from moving forward. Letting go doesn't mean you have to harbor ill will toward that person. It just means that you're choosing to protect your energy and prioritize your own happiness. Think about the energy you want to surround yourself with. Do you want to be around people who are constantly negative and pessimistic, or do you want to be around people who radiate positivity, optimism, and possibility? The choice is yours. You have the power to curate your circle of influence, and doing so intentionally can have a profound impact on your happiness. If you want to stay happy, especially when things feel like they're falling apart, you need people who make you feel safe, loved, and understood. You need people who will lift you up, not tear you down, and remember, the energy of the people around you can either push you toward your goals or hold you back. If you're constantly surrounded by people who doubt you, who undermine your confidence, or who make you feel like your dreams are unrealistic, it's going to be harder to stay motivated and focused. But when you surround yourself with people who believe in you, who remind you of your potential, and who celebrate your successes, you become unstoppable. You become more resilient in the face of adversity and more determined to keep moving forward, no matter how difficult life gets. Your relationships have the power to shape your happiness, so it's crucial to be intentional about who you allow into your life. Build relationships that nurture your spirit, fuel your ambitions, and remind you of your worth. Let go of toxic relationships that only drain your energy and hold you back from being the best version of yourself. Surround yourself with people who inspire you, who challenge you, and who support you through life's challenges. Because when you have the right people by your side, there's nothing you can't overcome. Chapter 9. The Joy of Progress. Why growth leads to happiness. Growth isn't just about making progress in one area of your life. It's about evolving in every aspect of who you are. When you focus on progress, no matter how small, you create a powerful momentum that drives you forward, even when everything feels uncertain. The joy that comes from growth isn't tied to an end result. It's found in the process of becoming. Every step you take toward improvement, whether it's mastering a skill, deepening your understanding, or strengthening your resilience, adds layers of meaning and fulfillment to your life. If you want to stay happy when life challenges you, embracing the idea of growth and the joy it brings will be one of the most transformative decisions you make. You might think that happiness is tied to the destination, when you've achieved your goals, when everything is in perfect balance. But that's not where happiness lies. Real happiness comes from seeing yourself evolve, watching yourself conquer obstacles, and knowing that every challenge is an opportunity for growth. It's not about achieving perfection, it's about continuously learning, improving, and adapting to the circumstances life presents. Each time you grow, you become more capable of handling life's unpredictability and more confident in your ability to navigate through tough times. Consider this: when you're focused on growing, even the most challenging moments can become sources of motivation. Instead of seeing obstacles as setbacks, you start to see them as stepping stones toward your next level of growth. Each time you push through difficulty, you gain new insights, new skills, and new strengths that you can carry forward. Growth isn't just about the obvious victories, it's about the quiet moments of progress that over time build up into something powerful. When life goes wrong, it's easy to feel stuck, to think that everything is falling apart and there's no way out. But if you shift your mindset and view each difficulty as a chance for personal growth, you start to change the narrative. You start to see adversity as a teacher, and suddenly, what once seemed like a burden now becomes an opportunity to rise. It's about reframing your mindset from "why is this happening to me?" to "what can I learn from this?" This mindset shift doesn't mean that you won't face hardship or struggle. It means that you'll face it with a sense of purpose, knowing that each challenge contributes to your growth. Growth also leads to a deep sense of fulfillment that's independent of external circumstances. When you're focused on becoming the best version of yourself, you stop relying on external validation or achievement to make you feel worthy. Your sense of fulfillment comes from knowing that you're constantly improving, no matter how small the steps may seem. This sense of progress gives you an inner peace, a calm confidence that no external circumstances can shake. When you start to find joy in the journey, you stop waiting for everything to be perfect in order to feel happy. So, how do you create an environment for growth? It starts with setting intentions, deciding that you want to grow, no matter what. This doesn't mean that growth will always come easy. There will be days when you feel like you're taking 2 steps back for every 1 step forward. But that's part of the process. Growth isn't linear. It's filled with twists, turns, and bumps along the way. But as long as you keep showing up, as long as you keep choosing to learn and grow, you're on the right path. You might not see instant results, but the progress is happening. It's happening in your mind, in your heart, and in your actions. The key is consistency. Another important part of growth is setting goals, not just for the big wins, but for the small, everyday victories. Each day you make progress, you're adding momentum to your journey. And that's where the joy comes from. The excitement of seeing yourself improve is what makes the journey worthwhile. It's easy to focus on the big achievements and feel like you're not doing enough, but the small wins are just as important. The consistency of taking small actions toward your goals adds up over time and creates powerful transformation. The process itself becomes rewarding, and each day you grow, you begin to realize that happiness isn't tied to a specific outcome, but to the ongoing act of growing. When you embrace growth as a constant in your life, you learn to be less attached to specific outcomes. You become more focused on the process of becoming rather than the result. And when you do achieve your goals, the sense of accomplishment is even more meaningful because you've enjoyed the journey. You've enjoyed the struggle, the learning, the moments of uncertainty that ultimately shape you into someone stronger and wiser. It's important to also recognize that growth is not just about personal achievements, it's about how you evolve in your relationships, how you adapt to the people and situations around you, and how you handle the challenges life throws at you. When you're focused on growth, you naturally develop resilience, You become better equipped to handle setbacks, disappointment and frustration. Instead of letting these moments define you, you use them as fuel for your next step forward. You realize that failure is not the end, it's just part of the journey. When you stop seeing growth as a destination, you start to experience a deeper connection to your life. It's not about the future, it's about the here and now. When you invest in your growth, you unlock new levels of joy, fulfillment and purpose. The simple act of becoming better each day brings a sense of accomplishment that fills you up, regardless of the chaos or challenges around you. It shifts your focus from what's going wrong to what am I learning, what am I becoming, and this change in perspective is one of the most powerful ways to cultivate happiness, even in difficult times. The key takeaway here is that growth is a lifelong journey, not a destination. It's not about waiting for everything to align perfectly or for your circumstances to change. It's about deciding to grow, evolve and improve with each passing day. The more you embrace this mindset, the more you'll find that happiness isn't something you chase, it's something you cultivate from within. When you commit to growth, you begin to realize that every challenge is a chance to improve, and every setback is an opportunity to become stronger. This is the true essence of happiness, not found in external circumstances, but in the ongoing process of becoming your best self. Chapter 10. Becoming the creator of your happiness. A life of purpose and joy. When you learn to create your happiness, you become the architect of your own life. This is where the true power lies, not in waiting for happiness to arrive from external sources or circumstances, but in understanding that you hold the pen to your own story. Life will always have its ups and downs, the unpredictable twists that make us feel as though we're at the mercy of fate. But the moment you realize that you are the creator of your happiness is the moment everything changes. This is where true freedom begins, the ability to shape your life, not by what happens to you, but by how you respond to it. This sense of agency transforms your entire experience, allowing you to navigate through challenges with purpose and joy, no matter what life throws at you. We've all been conditioned to believe that happiness is something that comes from the outside, from achievements, accolades, relationships, or material possessions. We've been told that if we just achieve this or get that, we'll be happy. But the truth is, happiness is an inside job, and the key to unlocking it lies in your ability to cultivate it from within. This doesn't mean ignoring the realities of life or pretending that everything is always perfect. It means taking ownership of your emotional state, your mindset, and your perspective. It means creating a life that brings you joy because you have chosen to find it within yourself, not because of what's happening in the world around you. When you create your happiness, you empower yourself. You stop relying on external validation to feel good about yourself, and you begin to take responsibility for how you feel. This shift in mindset is revolutionary. It means that regardless of what's going on in your life, you have the ability to choose your emotional response. You have the ability to choose how you perceive your circumstances. This is not to say that life won't throw curveballs, but when you learn to respond from a place of inner strength and emotional mastery, you navigate those curveballs with a sense of peace and resilience that others may never experience. Imagine waking up every day knowing that your happiness is in your hands. Picture yourself moving through life with a sense of calm, no longer waiting for things to align in a perfect way. Instead, you find joy in the process, in the daily creation of your reality. You learn to embrace the highs and lows with equal grace, understanding that both are necessary parts of the journey. It's the realization that you don't need to wait for life to give you permission to be happy. You can create that happiness right now. It starts with how you view yourself, how you view the world, and how you choose to show up each and every day. One of the most powerful tools you have in creating your own happiness is gratitude. The more you focus on what's going well in your life, the more you train your mind to see the positives, even in difficult situations. Gratitude shifts your focus from scarcity to abundance, from what's lacking to what's already present. The simple act of being thankful for the little things, whether it's a beautiful sunrise, a kind word from a friend, or the warmth of your home, can change the way you see the world. Gratitude opens your heart and helps you connect to the present moment. It's a powerful reminder that even when things feel hard, there's always something to be grateful for. Another critical element of creating your happiness is learning to live in alignment with your values. When you know who you are and what truly matters to you, you become less susceptible to the outside noise. You stop chasing after things that don't fulfill you and start investing your time, energy, and attention on the things that truly bring you joy. Living in alignment with your values gives you clarity and purpose. It helps you make decisions that are in harmony with your authentic self, rather than seeking validation from the world around you. The more you live according to your values, the more your life becomes a reflection of what matters most to you, and the more naturally happiness will follow. Creating your happiness also means taking responsibility for your emotions and reactions. It's about no longer giving away your power to people, circumstances, or things. When something happens that causes you distress, you have the ability to pause, reflect, and choose how you want to respond. You don't have to react out of anger, frustration, or fear. Instead, you can take a moment to center yourself, to breathe, and to respond from a place of clarity and wisdom. It's this ability to manage your emotional state that creates true inner peace. The more you practice this, the more you will feel in control of your happiness, no matter what's happening in the external world. At the core of creating your happiness is self-love. You cannot create a life of happiness if you do not first love and accept yourself. Self-love is the foundation upon which everything else is built. It means recognizing your worth, honoring your needs, and treating yourself with the same kindness and compassion you would offer to a friend. When you love yourself, you stop settling for anything less than what you deserve. You stop waiting for others to give you the love and approval you crave, and you start giving it to yourself. Self-love is the key that unlocks your inner joy, and once you tap into it, the happiness that follows is unstoppable. In creating your happiness, there's no need to wait for life to be perfect. You don't have to wait for the ideal relationship, career, or circumstances to feel happy. You don't have to wait for someone or something to give you permission to feel joy. Happiness is a choice, a decision you make every day. It's about taking ownership of your mindset, your emotions, and your actions. The more you practice this, the more natural it will become, and the more profound the impact will be on your life.